Feed the haters to the alligators. Your way or the highway, see you later. B.O.D. is the homie and Mr. Vader. If it wasn't for you, I would never made it. Whole city's covered by the cremated. Now they listen to what we were saying. Doesn't matter if the manufacturer or created.
What is up, guys? It's Dex, and I'm back here again, filling in for Adam, and we've got a great show ahead on Marfoogle News. So sit tight, and I will be right back.
Gold and silver better be stashing them. No point to robo platinum. Foogle family in action, eventually amassing in another casting. May you just say, Annie, are we okay? May I just say, Annie, are we okay?
All about the Marfoogle fam. All we ask is you make a plan. All about the Marfoogle fam. All we ask is you make a plan.
I don't know. I just love that song. It's been a while since I think Adam's used that one. But hey, welcome back to another edition of Marfoogle News. And again, I am Dex, and I am filling in for Adam, who is still not feeling well. As many of you heard in the last couple of episodes, he has been dealing with a very serious illness, diverticulitis, and it's really gotten bad. And he really needs everyone's support and prayers. Right now, I know he was told that if there were certain things that happened, that he needed to go get checked up again, and he's in the process of getting that looked at again because things weren't doing what they should be doing, and he wasn't heading in the direction he should be heading. So I do know he is, I have talked to him. He is trying to recuperate, trying to get better, and really misses everyone here. He may or may not be able to show up in chat, depending on how he's feeling and what his state is. But again, if you could just really send a lot of prayers for Adam for, a speedy, recovery and a quick recovery from what he's dealing with. I know it's pretty painful. All right, folks, welcome again. And let me say hi to a few folks. I see CJ Blaze is in the house. Thank you for being here, CJ. Sharon M., Jose Vaquila, Jennifer Martinez, thank you. And thank you all for being here. Denver, Colorado. Shane Reed, Denver, Colorado, here in the house. That's awesome. Glad you're here. Fort Bragg, California is here, says Judy Merner. Awesome. So glad you're here. And over on D-Live, the D-Live family, you guys are so awesome too. So good to see you all. Let's see, we've got Mosquito Butterfly and Angela 4110 and Dixie Doe, Fairy Spirit, Life Learner. You guys are awesome. The Nameless Block, Global Impact, and Gem. Hey, thanks for being here. Really appreciate you all stopping by and hanging out with us tonight. We've got a lot of news to cover, a lot of things going on. If you didn't see the thumbnail, we've got a couple of guys that are any day now, like in 7 days, I believe the date is, are supposed to be leaving Earth on American soil, on an American rocket, heading into space. I know a lot of people question. They go, I don't know, is that real? Do they really go into space? And a lot of people don't like some of the topics around this, and some people do. But at the end of the day, it is the news. It is what's happening. We're going to talk about it, and we're going to ask questions, and we're going to see what you guys think. So let's kick off things right now. I want to talk real quick and remind you about the website and remind you that everything we talk about here is documented. So all of the content we've put together, we've produced, we actually show on the website. We have it chronologically listed there, or at least in somewhat of an order that we have available for each show. So if you go to the website, you can see right here, this thumbnail represents the show. And if you click on it, you will see all of the articles that we're going to go over tonight. So they're listed right here. And you can even see some of our sponsors on the right if you want to help support the channel. They're all easy to get to. So if you're ever looking for those links, that's where they are. And one more thing, for those of you that are having trouble learning how to use our other platform, DLive, I know a lot of you on YouTube like to stay on YouTube, and that's great. And some of you folks on DLive, like DLive, and some people don't understand how to use it. So there is on our front door of our website a little link right here. It says how to. So if you have any questions, you want to learn how to do that, feel free. And of course, I'll talk more about some of the other things on our site as well as the show progresses. Real quick, nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not reflect the opinions of myself, of Adam, of anyone that helps the show. You should always do your own research and consult with a professional. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything you see here and everything you read anywhere with a grain of salt. All right, well, let's move on. This is just incredible. We talked about a dam last night rupturing and overflowing in Michigan, and it seems like this catastrophic flooding continues to happen throughout the Midwest. I've even heard of it in South Carolina. And I believe there's a building in Chicago that's underwater that's caused its power to be out. I can't remember the name of the building. It's probably the Sears Tower, unless it's a different building I'm thinking of. That's the old name. It's got a new name now. But in just 48 hours, part of mid-Michigan got hit with more than 8 inches of rain, forcing local rivers to flood to record levels, bursting dams and producing catastrophic flooding. The Tittabawassee River rose so high that the Sanford and Edenville dams failed, causing flooding to towns further downstream, which is what we reported on yesterday. Secord and small dams, why'd they say that? Secord and small dams have high water flows and are also being watched closely this morning for possible overflow. Also, the Illinois River in Illinois is in a major flooding at the moment, and some parts of the river continuing to rise. Finally, the same storm system that brought more than half a foot of rain to western North Carolina, where flash flooding was reported. So again, that's what I heard earlier, was there was a lot of flooding in the Carolinas too. So you guys out there dealing with the rain, dealing with all of this flooding, God bless you. Please be safe and be careful and be prepared for this kind of thing. If you live in a floodplain area, you should know what's going on there. Pay attention. All right. You're not going to believe this. So 300, again, we get these all the time and there's more and more in the news, but 300-meter space rock is hurtling towards Earth at nearly 13,000 kilometers a second, and it will come close this June. So the Center for Near-Earth Object Studies is closely observing an asteroid approaching our planet within the distance of 0.05 astronomical units. Now, an astronomical unit, if I recall, is the distance between Earth and the sun. I think LD is lunar distance, which is distance between Earth and the moon. In human terms, it may seem like nothing, but large space rocks can have a significant impact on Earth. No kidding. Even from 1 million kilometers away, the Apollo-class asteroid 441987, also dubbed 2010 NY65, will closely approach Earth on June 24th, according to NASA's tracking table. The space rock is measured at between 140 and 310 meters, based on the way it reflects light, and it's estimated to be a small object in NASA's terms. However, it will approach our planet at a speed of almost 13,000 kilometers per second, or actually 13 kilometers per second, coming at as close as 0.02512 astronomical units to Earth. NASA, they should tell you how many miles that is, because that's probably a little bit longer. We can look that up. NASA's CNO has been tasked to thoroughly observe all asteroids closely approaching our planet within 0.05 astronomical units, or around 75 million kilometers. So the 2010 NY65 is no exception to this rule and will fly past Earth on the early morning of June 24th at a distance of 3.7 million kilometers. All right, there's the math. 3.7 million kilometers. That's pretty far. I can't drive 3.7 million kilometers, but the other thing we have to worry about is how accurate are the measurements? How precise are they? We've seen, asteroids that they didn't pick up till the last second. We've seen asteroids they said aren't going to hit, and boom, they land in the Caribbean, or they find out about it too late, or they measured it wrong. So, these types of things we should pay attention to. Not meant to be gloom and doom, but at the same time, there's a lot of things apparently coming towards Earth, and we're not necessarily ready for it. So what do you think? We'll probably report on this like a new one every month, it seems like, because there's probably a new one or a one coming close to Earth every month when we look at the tracking system. So tell me what you think. Is this something we should be worried about? We just got done with Atlas. We're I think on the brink of finishing up Comet Swan. That's probably this week as far as being visible. And I'm sure it's on its way out of our approach. Okay, let me jump over to chat. Say hi to some folks here. The remaining remnant. Hey, it's good to see you. No, you didn't miss too much. We're just getting started here. Alice J, hey, thanks for showing up and helping out here. Really appreciate all you do. Ricky Spence, great to see you. Something Big, November 26th, too. That is coming from Melissa Rothstein. Melissa, what is that? Put it in chat. Let us know. Hi, y'all. Good to see you, Dex. Prayers and love from East Tennessee for my Foogle fam. God bless y'all all. That's Tiffany Angel. Thank you, Tiffany Angel. And you guys continue putting out prayers for Adam. Let's get him as quickly recovered and safely recovered as possible. Let's see, Carolyn Winkle. Hello, Dex. Thanks for keeping the show going, and prayers for Adam. Oh, thank you for the prayers. That's great. It's all about him right now. I really want to see this guy. He's my best friend. I want to see him get recovered soon. I know he's in a lot of pain. Alex G, November 26th is my birthday. Well, it's not November 26th yet, but it will be a happy birthday for you, I'm sure. And I thought I saw Channel Jammer over there. Hey, Channel Jammer, it's good to see you. Thanks for being here. And Shy the Coffee, Kelly 2334. Thank you for the diamond. Thank you for the support, Kelly 2334. And everybody over on D Live. Oh, it's Lujala Lady Luajala. I cannot pronounce I'm just like Adam. I can't pronounce it. And I know we talked on the phone. I apologize. Fairy Spirit 23 Skidoo, Nameless Block. Great to see you all. Thank you for being here. And thank you for the lemons and donations and support for the channel. All right. Moving along. I want to get this out of the way because it's really important, but at the same time, we're going to keep the show moving. NordVPN. You guys are all stuck on your computers right now. We're sitting at home. We're using them. We're on our phones. You need protection. These types of tools like antivirus and VPNs and things like that will do a lot to help protect you from being scammed, from being attacked, from being infiltrated. So if you don't have a VPN, you need to get a VPN. Go out and get a VPN. If you want to get a really good VPN, go to marfooglenews.com/VPN and you can get NordVPN at a special deal just for the Foogle fam. Not only that, it'll help the channel, but more so it'll help you. You can use it on up to 6 different devices. It'll protect your computer. It'll protect your phone. It'll help keep some of these criminals. And by the way, I read a report the other day that cybercrime is up like 30-something% right now just because of all the activity that's going on. So now more than ever, you guys really need to think about making sure that you are protected. And this is not an expensive tool. It's actually a really inexpensive tool for what you get and what it does and how it performs. Plus, it'll help you get beyond a firewall. If we ever get locked down with firewalls, something like a VPN is what people use in China and other countries when they try to get out. They want to get outside the firewall so they can get information out or get information in that they can't get to. So it's a great tool to have in your chest. marfooglenews.com/VPN. So Tonopah had another earthquake. It was a 5.0 magnitude. So I know this is just an aftershock, but still that's a pretty big number. So I thought this was interesting. The Nevada Seismology Laboratory and USGS is reporting a 5.0 magnitude earthquake approximately 50 miles west of Tonopah. And this is, if you remember, is where we just had the recent large earthquake there a few days ago, about a week ago. The initial earthquake at 5:41 a.m. was followed by 2 smaller ones measured at 2.9 and 3.3. There will most likely be several smaller quakes or aftershocks. Yes, of course there will. So anyway, that's was reported. I thought that was interesting because we keep an eye on that area of the country. There's a lot of activity happening there. And I know a lot of Dutch Sense fans here. So if you want more up-to-date information on what's happening with quakes, go check out Dutch Sense. He's awesome. Does a great job with forecasting and telling us and explaining to us why these different quakes happen and where they're happening. So, all right, this is really good. So, maybe interpreted as a threat, the Pentagon warns vessels not to approach U.S. ships in international waters. So you may recall, it was about maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, President T-Man actually put out an order and told Ryan that if their ships came near us again, we were just going to blow them out of the water because they were taunting us. And I think this, again, is an extension of that, but probably more broadly to the rest of the world, saying, back off. Don't come near our ships because we need to protect ourselves. So the U.S. military has issued a general warning to other nations for vessels to stay at least 100 meters away from U.S. warships, lest they be potentially interpreted as posing a danger to the ship. In a Tuesday notice to mariners, the Pentagon advised all vessels to maintain a safe distance of at least 100 meters from the U.S. naval vessels in international waters and straits. Armed vessels approaching within 100 meters of a U.S. naval vessel may be interpreted as a threat and subject to lawful defensive measures. We know what that means, right? Reuters noted that an unnamed U.S. official said the notice was not a change in the U.S. military rules of engagement. The comments came after the April incident in which U.S. President DT gave U.S. warships the orders to destroy Iranian ships that sail too close to them. So yes, that was last month. And again, last month, T-Man tweeted that he had instructed the United States Navy to shoot down and destroy any and all Iranian gunboats if they harass our ships at sea. That was his quote. So in another incident in 2018, a Chinese destroyer, Luoyang, sailed to within 45 meters. That's pretty darn close to the U.S. Navy destroyer USS Decatur, which Beijing claimed had crossed into Chinese territorial waters in the South China Sea. So is this just another warning? Do we expect to see something happen here? Have we had numerous incidents and we're basically putting up the last warning and saying, hey, if this happens again? So we'll have to pay attention. It won't surprise me, though, if we see something in the news being reported somewhere around the world where there's more of these conflicts between our ships and other ships that are approaching. I highly suspect that this is sort of the precursor to telling us that that's going to happen. All right. Well, let's keep on moving on. So here we go. A little bit of controversy here for some of you folks, because I know a lot of folks don't necessarily believe that there's things up in the sky and we can actually go up there and leave this earth. But that's okay. We all have different opinions here, and we're just here to report the information, and you guys can all share it and think about it and learn from one another, and do it respectfully, please. SpaceX, just 1 week away from launching its first astronauts on the Crew Dragon for NASA, and that's these guys. They are on the thumbnail, and this, I think, is Doug, and I don't remember the other gentleman's name. But my question for you is, since these two gentlemen right here are the first are to be the first Americans to launch from American soil since I think it was 2011, is this a big deal or is it not? For those of you that think we go into space, is this a big deal? Especially, it's got a lot of pressure, I think, for Elon. It's got a lot of pressure for that entire team at SpaceX. I mean, they are doing something really revolutionary by saying, hey, we're going to privatize the space industry. We're going to allow a commercial company to come in and do what these big government agencies used to spend tons and tons of money doing, and they're doing it at a fraction of the cost. They're doing it for a lot less money because they're private and they don't necessarily spend $20 million on a hammer. So it's really interesting to prove. Now, there's a lot of pressure on them because if they fail, it's pretty much the end of it. I could imagine if this doesn't go well, we won't see a lot of forward movement in the privatization or the private sector on space exploration. But I don't suspect they will fail. I actually am rooting for them not to fail. I don't think anybody wants to see anyone get hurt here. But it is a big risk. It's a big deal. This is sort of a big deal. This capsule, I believe, is the one we saw have a minor, as they called it, incident, which turned out to really look like it exploded. But, go back in time, we've had other tests that have exploded, but then we successfully did launch afterwards. So hopefully all will go well. This is going to be next. I think it's scheduled for next Wednesday. So let's dig in. So SpaceX first crewed flight is just a week away. Elon Musk company is scheduled to launch Demo 2. That's the name of it. Next Wednesday, May 27th, a mission that will send NASA astronauts Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley. So remember those names, Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley, to the International Space Station aboard Crew Dragon capsule. So that's the name, Crew Dragon capsule. The liftoff atop a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket that will depart from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida will mark the return of orbital human spaceflight to American soil after nearly a decade-long absence. The last such launch in July 2011 kicked off the final mission of NASA's Space Shuttle program. So I'm thinking pretty much everybody here probably remembers the Space Shuttle program and all of those launches and some of the catastrophes that happened there. They're pretty sad. It's just been an incredible journey to get us this far, and in some ways, it's really hard to believe we're going to launch next week, but it's incredibly exciting, Hurley said yesterday, May 19th, during a meeting of the National Space Council. It's a real honor to just be part of this program and to launch American rockets from Florida one more time. Well, I guess he means launch American rockets with humans in them from Florida, because they've been launching them from Florida all the time. Demo 2 will last between 1 and 4 months. Wow, that's a long time. NASA and SpaceX will decide on the duration after Crew Dragon is aloft. I guess in case they don't like what's going on, they can shorten up the trip. The mission is designed to fully validate Crew Dragon and Falcon 9 for crewed flights, freeing SpaceX to start flying operational missions to ISS with the duo. The company holds $2.6 billion deal with NASA's commercial planes. So one of the other things I read about when I was doing some research on this, they actually have to deal with not just the weather at the launch site, but they have to deal with the weather and the ocean all the way from Cape Canaveral, Florida, across the Atlantic, all the way towards Ireland, because that's the path, the trajectory that the rocket is taking. And when they normally launch a rocket, without humans on it, they just worry about what's in the sky. Like, what's the weather in the sky? And as long as the sky is clear from here to the exit point, then they're fine. They'll launch no matter what, and they take off. But because they have humans on board, they have all of these escape plans. So at some point, if something goes wrong, they have a plan to, abort the mission, and they've got to be able to touch down in the water, parachute down to the water. And one of the interesting things I read was the space shuttle. I don't know if anybody knows about this. It had a plan that on takeoff, if it had a problem, it could have landed in Europe. So they always had to have clear weather in Europe at a landing site as an alternative after it launched. But then they also had the option to put it in glide mode into the ocean, and the astronauts would climb out a pole on the side and then parachute down. I never heard of that. I never seen that. I'm sure somewhere they've got that documented as how it would work. I don't think we've obviously never seen that happen. But I thought that was really interesting that there's an escape plan for the space shuttle when it was taking off, that the astronauts could literally climb out a pole and parachute back down to water. So a lot of things goes into the planning and the launch of these things. And I think in particular, this one, they're scheduled for the 27th. And I also researched that if they can't launch, it gets backed up to the 30th. So 3 days later. I don't know what'll happen after that. So tell me what you think. Bob and Doug, these guys are going up. Is it a show? Is it a lot of risk? Are they going to be the next heroes? I don't know. You tell me. K King, hey Adam, feeling better. Drink bone broth. Hey, that's probably a good thing for him to drink right now. I know he needs to be on soft foods and liquids. Lots of trolls in here tonight. That's all right. Hey, if you see a troll, hug a troll. We love trolls. Just be nice to them. They're probably having a bad day. Adam will have to drastically change his diet, eat more healthier foods, and he will be okay. Yes, he probably has some changes to make with his diet. I'm pretty sure. There's a lot that goes into that. My family has had diverticulitis. I've never dealt with it. Oh, here we go. Tiffany Angel, I'm very open-minded when it comes to the FE theory. I could be convinced by the right documentary All right. Well, like I said, there's a lot of people who have differing opinions. And one of the great things about the Foogle fam, and I want to reiterate with all of you guys in here, is when we do talk about things like space, it's okay to have an open conversation about what you believe. Just do it respectfully. It's okay to also understand that two people can have two different opinions, but you can still get along. You don't have to force one another on to believe the way you believe. So just make sure you keep that open mind with one another, and we'll do that. Auntie M, thanks Dex for keeping the show going. Healing prayers for Adam. Much love to the Foogle fam. Auntie M, thank you so much for the Ninja Guinea. That's so cool, and appreciate you being here and spending time with the fam. Shannon, 1974, hi Dex. Jump Master, bad to the bone. That's funny. Thank you. Kaspark, love and prayers, Adam Dex mods, a fantastic Foogle family. Thank you so much. Zero turned Z needs a good gut cleaning for the diverticulitis. Yeah, he's done some research on that, and I've helped him with that as well. But he's gotten a lot of good information from some of his family members and other people, and some of the Foogle fam have sent different tips and things in about cleaning the gut. Tuck Pup just donated a diamond. Thank you, Tuck Pup. You're awesome. Appreciate that. All right. Well, let's keep moving on. I got some more great things to cover tonight. Before we do, I just want to mention EMP Shield. If you don't know what an EMP Shield is, this is a device that will protect your home. It'll protect your car. It'll protect your solar system, your generator, your RV, your boat, anything that's electronic, anything that has electricity, you can get an EMP shield for, and it will protect that system, whether it's your whole house or your whole car, from the damage that gets caused when an EMP goes off. And it'll protect it numerous times. And it covers the EMP, the E1, the E2, the E3. It'll cover a lightning strike. It'll cover a solar flare. And it basically grounds that signal. So when the ionization happens from those events, and that high spike of voltage comes from all the wiring in your house or all the wiring in your car, the EMP shield takes that voltage and brings it down to the regular level by grounding it out, so that, and it's called shunting. It shunts the electricity down so that it can keep it normal and not fry all the electronics that are tied into it. So your computer, your refrigerator that's plugged into your house, and the freezer that's storing all your food, all that stuff won't fry. It'll still work after the fact. So you can plug your generator back in, you can crank your generator up, and you can keep running. If you don't have an EMP shield, we highly recommend you get one. This is one of the things that they have talked about for a while now. DHS and others, including the president, has told us, hey, you guys need to be prepared. The country needs to be prepared. DOD needs to be prepared. The citizens need to be prepared. This is one of the ways you can be prepared. This was actually mentioned in the DHS report. EMP shield was. These guys actually help harden the grid in Texas, and they're working around the country. They also work with DOD and DHS and others to protect facilities and other things. So if you want what is out there that is actually made for us that we can afford, it's made it's an affordable product that you can actually put in your car and house, as opposed to some of these monstrosity systems that they have in other facilities. This is the way to go. marfugglenews.com/EMP. You'll save a little by using our code, and you'll support the channel. If you don't want to use our code, go around us. Just go buy it on your own. But you need an EMP shield. All right. Scientists made a mouse that's 4% human. That's weird, is it not? I don't think that's the actual mouse. That looks like a stock image. But scientists at the University at Buffalo and Roswell Park Cancer Institute have bred a new form of human mouse, chimera, with the highest incidence of human cells ever recorded. Chimeras are organisms made up of a mixture of genetically different tissues, in this case, mouse cells and human stem cells. The team published its work in the Journal of Science Advances. 2 weeks after the researchers injected human stem cells into the developing mouse embryos, one of the newborn mice exhibited a 4% human cells, a major advance considering humans and animal cells don't typically live well or jive well. While they're still mostly just mice and only a tad bit human, the breakthrough marks a step towards more advanced genetically modified embryos in the future. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know. I just don't I know this isn't science. I know they're trying to find new things and make things better for mankind overall, but it just doesn't feel right to be taking humans and animals and mixing them together. And I know if you go back in time and you look into ancient history, we've had all these images of humans and animals that were mixed together. And we've never seen necessarily the bones of that, but we've seen all sorts of weird things from that. So it's, it's one of those things that just, I don't know, it just doesn't fit right with me. I don't understand it in the sense that I'm willing to allow my beliefs to say we should necessarily actually do this, because it just seems weird. I don't know. You tell me. It has not been possible to generate naive human stem cells that substantially contribute to mouse embryos, the scientists say in the paper abstract. Their work may enable applications such as human organ generation in animals, which this is what I've heard. And I guess this is why I say I understand the medical part of it is they're trying to produce, I guess organs or produce parts, produce things that can help us as humans better. So if you needed a heart transplant and there's no hearts available, they can grow one in a pig. But I think that there's something weird about this whole notion that we're going to mix the genes between these animals and human genes and create something. And there's a lot of questions that then we have to answer for, like, is it human? Is it not human? And what defines human? And those are the questions I don't know that we're prepared for. I'm not. Maybe that's just why I have a hard time with it. What do you think? Is this something you think we should be doing or not? I'm sure there's a lot of opinions on this. Just keep it nice. And let's see here. Shane Reed, hey, thank you for the super chat. That is so awesome, Shane, and much appreciated the support for the channel. Really, really appreciate it, Shane. Thank you. Boston Bruins fan 6819. Thanks, Adam and Dex. Get well quickly, Adam. Prayers and positive vibes coming your way. Thanks for that, Boston Bruins. Let's see here. Anybody commenting on what's going on? Hey, Wally Pop. Hey, Dex. Thank you for filling in for Adam. You're doing a great job, and we appreciate you sending prayers for Adam every day. Thank you that he gets well. Thank you for that. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the comments. Let's see, Sweet Butter. I don't care about electricity all that much. My family has always been survivors, always will be. That's good. And, I get it. I totally get it. But then there's some of us that are dependent on it. Some of us even have electronics that we need to survive, whether it's, an oxygen machine or a CPAP or APAP machine or something like that. And you want to be able to use it after the fact. I'm sure there's other ways, but you also don't necessarily want it fried. So there's lots of different, everybody's got a different thing they need. So we'll just leave it at that. But it's a great point. I know living on the land, living on nature, and trying to be without dependent on electricity is an interesting way to look at life. Dex, NASA says 66,000 mile per hour hurtling through space, spinning 1,000 mile per hour, rotating the sun as an organized system, really, and they can predict a speeding comet. Going to do this and do that, but not the weather. Interesting point, Royston Davies. Appreciate that comment. It is pretty interesting. Lacey May, 33, prayers, dear Lord, to heal our Adam. We need him in his chair. His family needs him home. Amen. Yes, they do. And just to be clear, he has been at home. They did not want him staying in the hospital. So he has been recovering there. Probably why it's been quite painful for him. Adam's going to be a lot thinner when we see him again. I bet if he's eating liquids and mushy food, he might be. He's probably eating a lot of soup right now. I don't know. Hummingbird 32. I just want to get a pain down where I can sit in my wheelchair. Okay. Well, I hope you do, Hummingbird 32. I hope that helps. At some point you get that. Karma is here. Thank you for being here. Yeah. Robin 119. I like how Dex says some of us are dependent on electricity. I like AC. I live in South Louisiana. Yeah, I live in Georgia. And yeah, just like you, it gets hot and humid here, and we're kind of used to AC, and it's going to be tough to live without it. I'm sure we can survive. Like, it's not the end of the world, but there are plenty of people that it will be difficult. Like, it'll be difficult for them to breathe. It'll be difficult for them to deal with hot humidity when if there was no electricity. It could get really bad. Yeah, sick will die first. That was, I just lost it. Sorry, whoever said that, thank you for the comment. All right, let's keep moving on. Man, make sure I've got everybody here. You guys are fantastic. Much love to y'all. JR, Pale Horse, Dex, at what % does human DNA in an animal give it human rights? See, that's the type of question I'm talking about, right? Like, how do we deal with that? How do we reconcile all of these things when you start to mix, the DNA, when you start to mix the components of, humans and animals? That's just crazy. All right. This was kind of funny. And it just goes to show, as many times as we have problems on our show, even the big guys have it too. So CBS Evening News will be back for their West Coast edition after the control room glitch leaves the East Coast dark tonight. So apparently CBS Evening News did not air. They had a technical problem. And so I don't know if this has ever happened to them before, but they literally didn't have their show. They had to put the show off for the East Coast, and then they did say they would come back. So despite a technical glitch putting the kibosh on the East Coast airing tonight, the show will go on for CBS Evening News with Nora O'Donnell. I don't know that you guys are CBS Evening News fans, but I just wanted to bring it up because the fact is that even the big guys run into technical difficulties. Of course, they got huge staffs and lots of equipment, tons of redundancy, which is probably why they don't have all the struggles that, most of us streamers and content creators have, especially going live like we do. But anyway, I got a chuckle when I read that, and I said, wow, that's pretty unfortunate for them. I wish them all the best that they get back up on air. Jessica Harrison, thanks, Dex. I would love to work with you. Oh, Jessica, that's so sweet. And Charmaine Luke, thank you for the super chat. That's so nice. I think you can say something, but it's okay. Love you. Much love. Thanks to all of you. All right. Lady Green Eyes, thank you for the diamond. And let's keep on keeping on. All right, let's move into some of the other conversations. We'll talk a little bit about some of the CV. Try to put that stuff towards the back, only because I try to keep it all together so that hopefully the algorithm doesn't hit it. And by the way, somebody thought I had a toupee on yesterday. I don't have a toupee. It's just long because I hadn't got my hair cut since like forever. And so if you want to see my shaved head of hair, you can go back to an old video on a Dex J channel and see it. Anyway, let's keep moving. I don't know why I said that. CV-19, China's new outbreak shows signs that the CV could be changing. This is interesting. So we just talked yesterday about how they've locked down 108 million, maybe 110 million people now in China as a new flare-up has happened. But Chinese doctors are seeing the CV manifest differently among patients in its new clusters of cases in the Northeast region. This is where they were locking down. Compared to the original outbreak in the city that begins with the letter W, where it originally started, suggesting that the pathogen may have been changing in unknown ways and complicating efforts to stamp it out. Patients found in the northern province of Jil and Heilongjiang appear to carry the virus for a long period of time and take longer to recover, as defined by a negative nucleic acid test. Kuai Hebo, one of China's top critical care doctors, told state television on Tuesday, the cases in the Northeast also appear to be taking longer than the ones to 2 to 3 weeks observed in W City. And if you wonder why I keep saying things weird, I know all of the Foogle fam that's been here forever knows we use certain words so that our channel doesn't get necessarily marked. The algorithm doesn't score us bad, and it helps our channel get out and grow, and we get more members to the fam, more people. We want to share our message. We don't want to just go talk in the corner to a small audience or a narrow audience or just ourselves talking in the wall. We want to reach and talk to as many people as possible and bring people together. So we do things to try to help make sure that we don't get in trouble with the algorithm, and it makes it easier for us to be seen and spread across the platform. So That's why we talk that way. The longer period during which the infected patients show no symptoms has created clusters of family infections, said Kwai, who was earlier sent to the W city to help in the original outbreak. Some 46 cases have been reported over the past 2 weeks, spread across 3 cities. Okay, so basically what I'm hearing here is they're saying, hey, what we saw when it originally happened in the original city that starts with a W, it's totally different what's coming back now in the northeastern section of the country. So they've got these new outbreaks. There's like 34 different areas, and they've quarantined now, or locked down now 110 million people in these areas to help protect and prevent the further spread. But they're saying that what's happening with the symptoms and what's happening with the people that are getting infected with it is different. So that is kind of a potential red flag in the sense that it has changed. And has it changed for the better, for the worse? Is it lighter? Is it stronger? Obviously, in this case, it sounds like it's lasting longer. That's the one thing I understand from this. So we'll have to keep an eye on this. You can read the rest of the article on our website. More to come as we continue to pay attention to this topic. So speaking of our website, if you are not a member of our Discord community, head over to marfooglenews.com. It's real simple. You click on the top or on your phone, click in the menu and choose sign up for alerts and get Discord. And when you do that, you'll sign up for Marfoogle alerts so that we can send you an email if we ever have a catastrophe or we are no longer on a platform and we need to move and we got to tell you where we're going, or we've got some urgent information that we need to send out, or systems are down, or things are we're on lockdown digitally and email is the only way to communicate, then we have it. So you want to make sure you're on that Marfoogle alerts. But when you do sign up, the first email you're going to get is a Discord invite, and that invite will probably show up in your junk folder. It might show up in your promotions tab if you use Gmail. Just go look for it there. Once you get that invite, click into Discord, join the Discord community. We have a server running there, and you can go find your state group. You can find like-minded people in your own local state, and you can start to meet up with them, both digitally online in the chat rooms, or as some people do, they've been meeting in person. Now, of course, they took a break when we had to do social distancing and things like that. So we definitely, you guys make your own call and make sure you're doing the right thing not to get one another sick. But before we had the CV thing, a lot of folks were meeting up in person. They were teaching each other, learning how to prep, learning how to different skills from one another. It's a really fantastic environment. There's over 15,000 people that have joined. We also have a group in there for the creators, and we have a group in there exclusively for the military. So go to marfooglenews.com if you want to get on Discord. Quarantine and a monitoring bracelet for Hong Kong returnees. Wow. I don't know. Do you think that's really... Let me zoom in on that. That's not the bracelet, is it? I guess it could be. Maybe that is. I'll have to research that after the fact to see if that's actually... Let's see. It says here, Associated Press reporter Zhen Su works on her laptop while wearing a government-mandated quarantine wristband in Hong Kong. So that is actually the wristband. Look at how big that is. Wow. That's almost like... It's oversized. It's much bigger than a watch. It's sort of like the ankle bracelet that you would have to wear if you were in home arrest, but wrist version. It sits on your wrist just as a wristwatch would. No, it doesn't. That's a hell of a lot bigger than a wristwatch. And in a moment when the world fears infection more than almost anything, it knows exactly where you are. Since late March, residents returning to Hong Kong have been required to undergo a 2-week quarantine at home, in a hotel, or at a government facility as part of the stepped-up efforts to curb the spread of the CV. To ensure people don't flout quarantine, the semi-autonomous Chinese city issued mandatory wristbands to all arrivals to be worn for the entirety of the 2-week period. Those required to go through the 2-week quarantine are unable to leave their homes and must rely on food or grocery delivery for meals. Government officers also conduct random checks on their homes to make sure they have not broken quarantine. That's what happened to Zhen Su, a Hong Kong-based technology writer for the Associated Press. For 2 weeks, she was confined to her apartment, waiting out a quarantine designed to ensure she didn't have CV-19. The wristband was her constant companion. I don't think I would think of it like that. Early versions were glitchy, and the government admitted that only a third of them worked. Later ones included a Bluetooth-enabled version that connects to the user's smartphone to monitor movements. All right. Well, there you have it, folks. We've heard about this. We've talked about this. It's now being deployed in Hong Kong. Is it coming to a city near you? We've seen that people traveling from New York, New Jersey, Louisiana into the state of Florida were asked, and were not asked, they were told they had to do a 14-day quarantine before they could then venture out into the state. So they weren't quarantined at the state line, but they were said, hey, where are you going? Where are you staying? When you get there, we're writing down your address, and you need to commit to us that you're going to stay there for 14 days and not come out, and then you're free to go around the state. Presumably they did checks. I don't know. But that was sort of the notion. Now that was not done in this fashion. It could have been. Will it? Will a state start doing this? What do you think? Will you wear one if you're told you have to? I don't know. That also begs the question. I asked this on Twitter. A lot of folks are saying, hey, leave your phones behind. Don't take your phone everywhere you go because it can track you. Are you guys doing that? Is that something that is important? Are you worried about that? Are you, leaving the phone behind? So sound off. Leave a comment below if you're watching this on the replay. Tell me what you think about this. Tell me what you're doing. Are you worried about being tracked? If you are, then what are you doing to prevent it? If you're not worried about being tracked because you think you're tracked all the time and you just sort of say, hey, it's the cost of living now, I have to do it. Say that too. Tell us what's going on. And if you're in chat right now, do the same. All right. Karen Races. Everything is open in AZ. People are driving from here, from other states, just to get their hair done. Yeah, maybe I need to go get my hair done. Actually, I can get it done in Georgia. I just haven't made the appointment yet. I need to. I was thinking about just running the clippers over it myself. Jessica Harrison, I'm making an RFID blocking box. Well, there's an idea, an RFID blocking box, probably to put your phone in, right? And any other device that may track, you want to put that in the box. Leaving my phone behind, says Julie Olchak. Leaving phone at home, says T-Check. Excuse me. Jobs a good one, no phone. Faraday bag says, it's Wesley, I-70 Mad Hatter. Hey, it's Wesley. I know you. And Renee Thomas. Hey, thanks for being here, Renee. Good to see you, Bones. Northern Tiger. Paula Tichenor, Yabba Susan Bettinger, Liz Lamrachi, and JR Palehorse. All of you, it's great to see you. And thanks to all the mods that are in chat over on YouTube. Really appreciate what you do. Shy the Coffee, a bone broth that has a 2-year shelf life for shelter times. I utilize a Kettle and Fire brand. Oh, thank you, Shy the Coffee. And thank you for the Ninja Guinea and that tip for everybody. So much appreciated. Phone does not work on property. Phone in a Mylar bag. So Playhard69 says phone in a Mylar bag. Chichawa says phone does not work on the property. Sniper Bear Armitrage, the phone is useless anyway, so I got rid of it in November. Wow, that's pretty cool. You're living without a phone. I am so connected right now. I don't know how I could do that. I'm sure I could. Maybe I just couldn't do everything that I do right now. I have to change what it is I do. This lockdown has been my life for 2 years, living in bed. Hummingbird 32. Much love to you, Hummingbird 32. Much love and prayers. Let's see. Angel 410. Good point. That would they do it if everyone just left the phone behind? Yeah. What would they do? Like if everyone left their phones behind and then they went out and like all of a sudden there's no movement in the phones. That would be really funny. Like if there was a national, everyone leave your phone at home day. and go out. Because I just read, and I think I put this on Twitter. I didn't put it in the show, but I just read that somebody was tracking from one of the events, in actually multiple events of the protests in Michigan and a couple other locations. They went and they tracked. Of course, it was the anonymous data, but still, they tracked all the people that were there. And then they had to make a point about where did they go afterwards. And they said, we're going to track them for 4 hours. They tracked all these people that were at these protests to see where they went and what they did. It's kind of scary. Kind of scary when you think about it. All right. Check this out. You know, we just talked about riot gear, the feds buying it. So now this is not in America, but in America, the feds were buying it. But riot police have deployed as a youth sets car ablaze in Paris suburbs. So things are getting heated again over there in Paris. And, you know, we're seeing, I think I've reported a couple other locations that were doing this, that the conflicts just continue to ramp up. Now, what's interesting is we had a lot of these things happening around the globe before the CV, and then the CV sort of was like a wet blanket. It just put out all the fires from France to Germany to other locations, especially in some places in South America. A lot of different locations were, in Hong Kong was the biggest. Huge protests were everywhere. All of that just sort of went away. It just all got a big wet blanket thrown on it when the CV hit. And now as things are starting to settle down, we're starting to see those CV settle down. We're starting to see more of these ramp up. So I expect, and I would think that we'll see more and more, just like we're seeing here in America, our own, I think of more as a micro protest because they're at the local level with their governments about what the governors are doing. We're going to start to see more of this uprising from these different countries and different locations around the different topics, whether it's the injustice or that of the past, or if they're going to continue to push on the things that are bothering them with regulations now around CV. Riot police were deployed in force as youth sets car ablaze in some low-income housing estates in the Paris suburbs overnight. Online news reports and postings on Twitter showed on Wednesday amid tensions heightened by the CV lockdown. The latest unrest in Banlieue high-rise, low-income neighborhoods flared after an 18-year-old perished last weekend in a motorbike accident in the suburbs of Argenteuil. An investigation into the death of Sarbi Chobi was ongoing, said the prosecutor's department of District of Pontus, which handles judicial matters for Argenteuil. It added the initial findings did not show Chubi's motorcycle had been in a collision with a police car, and some of the victims associated had alleged, So I guess people were saying that the victim had hit a police car or was struck by a police car, and then they're saying, no, it didn't look that way. So now there's an uproar. But they're getting to the point where now riot police have come out, and the tensions are flaring up. So this is really interesting. We'll pay attention to what's going on. Pay attention to what's going on around the world. Pay attention to what's going on locally right around here, too, in your own neck of the woods. And if you're seeing things like that, put it in comments. Tell us what's going on in your town. Bones hit me up the other day and talked to me about, in Michigan, all the barbers doing their own version of a protest. I should have been there, but a little bit far for me to drive. The Chile virus cases soar as soldiers deploy following unrest. Here we go again. Other countries with unrest. Santiago, CV cases soar in Chile Tuesday as soldiers were deployed to back up riot police in Santiago following clashes with demonstrators angry about food shortages and job losses. Those are two key things, jobs and food. I think those are really important. Soldiers in armored vehicles and wielding automatic weapons were deployed to the working class neighborhood of El Bosque, where on Monday, residents armed with clubs and stones clashed with riot police. Clubs and stones. I guess they're not an armed citizen there like we are here. Because it would be a totally different scenario if that happened in parts of America. Overnight Monday to Tuesday, rioters looted a neighborhood gas station while downtown a mob set a bus ablaze, just like in Paris. Residents in both poor and middle-class neighborhoods banged pots and pans in protest. Military deployment came as Chile recorded 3,500 new CV cases in its biggest daily increase for a total of almost 50,000 infections. The South American country, with a population of some 18 million people, also reported its largest number of a single day deaths, with 31, bringing the total to more than 500. All right, so like I said, it's happening. We've been seeing it. We'll continue to see it. We'll continue to monitor it. We'll continue to bring it to you. It's not just Chile. It's not just Paris. It's around the globe. It's in your backyard. It's down the street. It's in your neighboring state. It's happening everywhere. Missing notifications. Some of you don't always get the notifications that come out on this platform, the platform some of you are watching on. And those of you that are on the other platform, you probably get them all the time because they work really well over there. But if you need a notification and you want to get a notification, the best way to go, in addition to using DLive or making sure you have subscribed and recheck the bell on YouTube, is to go to our website, marfooglenews.com. A little pop-up will show up and says, do you want to get notifications? And I know when you go to a website, you probably say, no, I don't want that, because you're used to saying no. Well, say yes. Say yes this time. And when you forget about it and you accidentally say no, move down to the bottom. There's a little red bell right here on the screen. Just hit that little red bell and it'll ask you if you want to subscribe, and you can get the notifications. And then we will be able to send you updates when we go live, which is what we do. We always push them out on Discord. We always push them out on the website. And then, of course, the notifications come from DLive and YouTube using their platforms when they work. So again, marfooglenews.com works with just about all your browsers and most mobile devices. So let's, I thought I saw somebody in here. Oh, there it is. Toss Dare. Thank you for the $10 super sticker. Cool sticker too. Thank you for doing that. Kevin Foogle fam. Margaritas and ribs at Chili's. Dining in no fear. Love it. Kevin Foogle fam. It's good to see you. Thanks for the super chat. Randy T. Rocket Dex. Oh, thank you. Lord Andrew Dex, Florida was stopping people on border as they came into Florida, asking if they came from New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Louisiana. Yes, that's right. I forgot about Connecticut. That's the other one. I remember seeing the lines that were backed up on the interstate when they first started doing that. I don't know if they continue to do it or what's going on, but that was their plan. This is from Backass Words, A Weird World. UN Resolution 73209, Article 13.2, Protection of Persons in the Event of a Disaster. International law that the U.S. sovereign nations must accept international aid in the event of disaster includes vaccines. Interesting. Backass Words, A Weird World. Thank you for that comment and sharing it. You guys go take a look at that and dig in and see what you see. JR Pale Horse Decks in my area, we show them some Copperhead Road stuff, better than stones and clubs. LOL. Yeah, I bet. Much better than stones and clubs. All right, let's go over to DLive. Hey, DLive community. Hey, let's see. JD 1994. Hey, Dex and Adam. You called the Michigan dams backing up. No traffic CT highways. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, we reported on the dams yesterday. And, yeah. Free your mind. What happens to the U.S. elections in November? Good question. You know, a lot of people are asking, what's going to happen in November? Are they going to postpone? Are we going to keep it? Should they postpone? Is everybody going to mail in? Are we going to do something totally different? I don't know. We'll have to watch and see. It's going to be an interesting time. I think there's a lot that's going to lead up, probably starting... it's starting now, but you're probably, my prediction is we're going to see a lot of this in July and really heavy in August, and probably a lot of consternation around the topic about how to pull it off, who's going to do it, who wants it done what way, and what's the right way, the wrong way, etc. So, bows and arrows here. Harry the Rabbit. That's funny. Bows and arrows. Hey, bows and arrows work good too. Must accept aid. That doesn't sound good, says Sniper Bear Armitrage. Yeah, that's what was reported over there. Go check out that UN resolution. Somebody look into it. I'll try and look at it as well. Keep on. Let's see. Thank you for being here. Rooster 5589. Good to see you. Play hard. Good to see you. Great job, Dex. Thank you for the comment. To make your water more absorbent, and add some organic bottled lemon juice and a 1/8 of a teaspoon of pink salt, says Kimmy. Hey, thank you, Kimmy. Hope that helps some of the Foogle fam out there. Let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Did I miss anybody else? I can't get to you all, but I love y'all. This is crazy here. Operation Haircut. Man, I probably need it too. Michigan barbers defy lockdown, offer haircuts on Capitol lawn. I hope there's a picture in here. There's not. Well, you know what? We'll do this. There we go. Let me zoom that in so you guys can see what's going on. So in Michigan, the barbers got together and they started cutting hair on the lawn of the Capitol. So Michigan barbers defy the lockdown, offer haircuts on the Capitol lawn. Anti-lockdown protesters gathered in Lansing on the lawn of Michigan State Capitol Wednesday to get a haircut. With barbershops and salons closed indefinitely due to the state's CV lockdown, barbers are scheduled to cut hair on the Capitol lawn for 3 hours Wednesday afternoon. The protest, called for Operation Haircut, was organized by the Michigan Conservative Coalition, and its latest example of Michiganders clashing with the Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer, who has enacted some of the strictest CV restrictions in the nation. Operation Haircut is underway at the Michigan Capitol steps. I think that was the caption for that picture we just saw. The Michigan Department of State Police threatened to issue citations to those giving or receiving haircuts. All individuals engaged in haircuts are being educated on the law. Those who do not comply will be cited for disorderly conduct, the department tweeted. So get your disorderly conduct and a haircut. Head into Lansing, Michigan. All right, well, what do you think? I mean, this is, I guess I would say, what's the term? I guess peaceful protest in some sense, or not necessarily harsh protest, but this is, it's what they're doing. I can see they're frustrated. They can't, do their job. They can't make a living. And they're probably frustrated because other states are. And that's up to each government. It's, right now we're doing it on a state-by-state basis in the sense that each governor, it's up to them. And at the end of the day, you guys elected your governors. So if you don't like what your governors do, go to the ballot box. It's up to you. They're there because you put them there. Not necessarily you personally, but you collectively. So if you're not happy with the representation, it's, it doesn't happen overnight, but it is something you guys can actually do. You can change it. You can get out and you can vote. Study. 6 feet. Social distancing guidelines are insufficient. The CV can travel 18 feet in 5 seconds. Man, there's a new study every day, it seems like. Whether it's if you sneeze, it goes here. If you breathe, it goes there. And I just read, I think that the CDC came out and said that it is not transferable on infected surfaces now. But I don't know. Don't take my word on that exactly, because there's probably details in there of how they studied it and what it really means. But we're going to have to dive into that one a little bit more and understand what does that mean. Actually, if what they're saying at a high level is good, then it might mean it's a little bit easier for us to open up some places where we think we might touch things and catch it. If that's not the case, that would be nice. But all over the country, Americans are being told to stay safe by maintaining a 6-foot distance from one another in public settings. Unsettlingly, a new study finds that those suggestions may be very insufficient. There is still a lot we don't understand about the airborne transmission of the CV, but researchers have found that just a slight 2.5 mile per hour breeze can propel saliva 18 feet in 5 seconds. Okay, so they didn't actually test did CV go, they tested did saliva go. So let's make sure we get this story correct. The study is that saliva can travel 18 feet in 5 seconds with a 2.5 mile per hour wind. Now, we all know, or we've been told, that CV can travel in your saliva, and that's how it spreads from one person to another. So the droplet, quote, the droplet cloud will affect both adults and children of different heights. Comments study co-author Dmitry Drikulas in a release by the American Institute of Physics. Shorter adults and children could be at higher risk if they are located within the trajectory of a traveling saliva droplet. Okay, so you guys can see this. I'm going to zoom in. So if you're short, you may be at higher risk. That's interesting. Makes sense. Everything does travel downward over time, right? All right. That's crazy. Whenever anyone coughs, saliva is inevitably released and travels through the air in a suspended state. Of course, the distance saliva travels depends on a number of factors. The size, the amount of the droplets, how the droplets are interacting with one another, the rate of evaporation, and the transference of heat and mass and air conditions, such as humidity and temperature. Again, very technical there. But it's good because they're scientists. They're supposed to be technical. To study saliva movements through the air, the research team created a computational fluid dynamics simulation. That simulation is capable of analyzing the characteristics of every single saliva droplet traveling through the air via a cough. The simulation also accounts for additional factors like dispersion force, humidity, saliva to air molecule interactions, and the transition of droplets from liquid to vapor. Wow, that's a lot. Probably some AI in there. The simulation is displayed on a computer as a grid that represents the entirety of space in front of a coughing person. The analysis for the study encompasses 1,008 saliva drops and roughly 3.7 million subsequent equations. So there you have it. This study says, hey, 18 feet in 5 seconds. Is that going to change your mind? Are you going to do anything different? Again, this is just a study. It's not changing the opinion of what we should be doing. We're told to social distance and abide by those social distancing guidelines. And you all should, because we're not going to say anything different from what we're told to do, lest we get in trouble. So tell me what you think. Sound off in the comments in live chat or down below. And while you're going down below, if you're going to leave a comment, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Double check it. Make sure you're still subscribed. Sometimes you're not. And if you're on DLive and you're just getting here for the first time, click the follow button. We really appreciate all the support from everybody. Lord Andrew at Dex, the asteroid is there. A big debris field behind it with everything else happening as the year began. Do you think we will get hit all over the earth with debris from the asteroid? That's a great question. I don't know if this one, they didn't report it as having a debris field, but it potentially could. I would think that it's probably hit something before, or it became an asteroid. So it's possible it's got debris around it. A lot of times when we see other asteroids, there is smaller debris around those asteroids. So it's a good question. We'll have to pay attention to it. We'll watch when it's coming in. Maybe we'll have a meteor shower or two. I don't know. I feel this is the ultimate divide and conquer, the lockdown and especially social media. They will sneak in our back door when we're staring at our phones. Cheryl Barger. Thank you, Cheryl, for the comment. That's a good one. The one article from China stating that it was transferred to another on a bus where they were seated 16 yards apart and another infected after touching a surface 2 hours later. That article was retracted, according to Brandy Renee. Thank you for that comment, Brandy. You guys are awesome. You guys are full of so much information. You really are. And that's one of the great things when the fam comes together and we bring you some of the news that we found and the interesting things that we find. And then you guys share what you see and what you've learned. It's so much better. The chat's awesome. The information is awesome. Everybody can get their hands on a lot of different opinions and ideas, and they can decide what rabbit holes they want to dig deep in and which ones they don't. And that's wonderful. Jojo A123, if I cough, people look at me weird. So I cough more and start laughing. Oh, come on. That's cruel in some ways. Cause I know like I went out and I didn't have a mask on and people looked at me funny and I had to go back to my car and grab my mask because I should have worn my mask and I don't know why I didn't have it on. Just didn't think about it when I jumped out of the car. And I know you get those freaky looks and people are everybody's on edge. So. And to the rest of the D-Live community, I'm looking you up now. Kimmy, Dex, you're so entertaining. Oh, well, thank you. Kimmy, you're awesome too. Thank you for being here. And thank you for being over on D-Live. Play hard. Experts are lying. Well, thank you for the comment. Play hard. And I see a lot of lemons flying through here, guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for all the lemons. Supports the channel, supports Adam. Supports everything we do in here, supports the fam, make sure that we all stay together. So you guys are really awesome. Thank God I don't have one of those cancer phones. There's another person without a phone. That was Priscilla. That's amazing that you're surviving without a phone. It's kind of that would be a challenge. I want to think about that one. If I could survive without a phone. Freedom and privacy are nothing but an illusion. Freedom has left the building, says Mr. Lee Sr. Thanks for the comment, Mr. Lee Sr. Very profound there. And you said it a few times. We got the point. Some of my restaurants are making cooks remake food because they saw the cook going to the restroom with gloves off. Duh. Well, I would hope they'd remake the food if they went to the restroom and didn't wash their hands. Yeah. And who was that? That was Shy the Coffee. Thanks for the comment, Shy the Coffee. All right, you guys are so awesome. Lots of love here. Again, just want to reiterate, Adam is recuperating. He is trying to get better. He will get better. It's just going to take time. He has a very, very bad, unique case of diverticulitis. At least for him, it's a big deal because it's never happened like that for him before. He had to go to the hospital. They gave him a treatment regimen, some things he's got to do. He's in severe pain. And matter of fact, they said if certain things happened, he needed to go be evaluated again. He had to go back because those things were happening. And he's in the process of figuring out where he stands now. We'll keep you updated. The show will go on. Adam will be back eventually. He just needs a lot of prayer. He needs a lot of love. He needs some healing time. I know he misses each and every one of you. I don't know if I saw him in chat or if any of you guys saw him in chat. He does try to pop in when he can, say hi. And I know he absolutely loves all of you and appreciates all of the love and support and prayers and thoughts that you guys have for him. And I do too. Want to see him back here real soon. So speaking of health, one of the things you can do to help yourself is getting back in touch with the earth, the thing that's like right outside your door. So you can do this for free. Like take your shoes off, go outside, spend 15 minutes standing on the ground, and it will actually improve your health. It will actually help you feel better. There's this thing that we don't realize called the earth that has negative ions that actually flow up through our positively charged body and allows us to sort of balance out. And we have been running around since the days they invented Keds or whatever first rubber sole tennis shoe came out, we have actually been insulated. We spend most of our lives insulated away from Earth. We weren't designed that way. By nature, we're designed to walk barefoot. By nature, we were designed to probably wear non-synthetic coverings on our feet, like some sort of animal skin or leather or whatever, right? So we were always connected to Earth. And now that we're not, we actually have seen a lot of negative effects from that. Specifically being an increase in inflammation. So if you don't know what I'm talking about this thing called earthing. I'm talking about this thing called grounding. And there's a pioneer in the space named Clint Ober. He has done a couple of documentaries on this. One of them, the latest one, is available at marfooglenews.com/GT. You can go there. You can watch the documentary. It's a full-length film, hour and 20 minutes or so. Really, really good. It tells you all of the scientific studies, talks about all the different things that can be improved just from doing simple things like grounding yourself a little bit each day. And look, obviously, the more you do it, the better it is for your health. You can decrease inflammation, reduce pain and stress. You can even increase attention span in autistic children, autistic people, improve your sleep, etc. The list is pretty long and some of the amazing things that happen. If you don't want to go outside and put your feet in the ground all the time, you can actually buy simple products like a mat, which I have right here. You can see it on the screen. That is my grounding mat. It's plugged into the ground in the wall and it's grounded. And when I touch it, like I am now, I'm leaning against it, I am grounded. And that grounding, and also have a bed mat. I sleep on that. And Adam has one too. He sleeps on it. And when you're grounded and you do that when you're sleeping, you get extra time that your body is recuperating. So if you want to learn more about it, go to marfooglenews.com/earthing. You can buy the products there and it does support the channel. All right. Well, again, I want to thank you all for spending time with me tonight here on Marfoogle News. And I want to wish Adam the best and hope to see him back here real soon. I'm sure he will be recovering, hopefully as quickly as possible. I do have a shoutro teed up. I picked one from a few shows back. So we're going to head over to that. And for those of you in DLive, we'll be cracking the chest in just a few minutes after the shoutro gets started. So let me, without further ado, give you a little bit of Adam. And much love and peace to you all. And thank you for being here tonight.
Holy Ghost coming back around, baby girl, gotta hear the sound, go, kick it, Mark. Thank Craig, Watson, 60 and the Chandy, yeah, red or blue pill, got that go to all. Random Steve, 5 see you, oh, best 777, see it, just go see it, just go see it, oh, oh. Sunny Ray and bring it on. Bring it with that papa pie. Gotta get more cowbell. Gotta bring it back like capcha. Mix her up or fix her up. It doesn't really matter cause we get lucky. Lucky like that Sandra Lee. Bring it right back down like one knee. One knee down and bring it down. We got that hella love now. All my YouTube peeps say, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up. All my D-Live peeps say, what's up, what's up, what's up. D-Live, D-Live. All my YouTube peeps, I know wicked, wicked, wicked. With that windy, hold the Holy Ghost and fire, fire, fire. I'm trying to find it. They love the Marfoogle. But they just can't see. We all do it 3 minutes after. And if you missed it, get an after. The chest was already open. I just like echo. That's still not it. But they just can't see. Make a happy song when the corona gets hard. Oh, there it is. There it is. Oh. Oh, there it is. I love it. There it is. Oh. We've got the Minnesota man. We've got the place and we go with that. We've got the Capuchow hippie cheer. We've got the Southern Mercy and the rest. Rick's are upper, bad Tyler. We've got that lags. We gonna bring it back now, baby girl inside.
Works. Let's see if this works. See if this works. See if this works. Let's dig a dig. Hey, boom. Works. Let. You ha 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 Susan done you ha 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 Susan done you ha ha ha. Susan done you ha ha ha.
Everybody really wanna get that live T-shirt and that one that she got to go and bring it with the Alicia. Oh, I've got to bring it. Oh, I've got to bring it. I just so bring it now. I said I love you, Holy Ghost and fire when I see. I said ha 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 ha. It's Nina and Mr. Dina. I thank you for being here almost every night. And now I couldn't finish Stephen Diaz, Bad Tyler, and that night. Hey, don't we? You only need that one more mom and bring it. You got to bring it. Yes, the upper bring it. See, I just gotta bring it. I'm gonna bring it. Let you bring it right
Friday night. Look at that.